Have you ever heard of a place that existed on official maps for hundreds of years, only to disappear without explanation and without a trace? Not a mythical land, not folklore, but a physical island charted and recorded by explorers, governments, and even oil companies. That place is Burmesa, or at least it was. Today, we explore one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in maritime history, the case of the island that vanished from the face of the earth, or maybe was never there to begin with. Our story begins in the year 1539. Spanish cartographer Alonso de Santa Cruz publishes a map of the Gulf of Mexico. On it, a small island appears about 100 kilometers off the Yucatan Peninsula, floating in the Gulf's deep blue waters. The island is called Bermeza, a name derived from the Spanish word for reddish. Some speculate it got this name because of its hue, others because of the red, tinct coral or sand that supposedly marked the area. As the centuries passed, Burmese didn't vanish. In fact, it kept showing up again and again, not just on Spanish map, but also British, French, and American ones. It was listed in official atlases. It appeared in maritime navigation charts. It was even included in Mexico's official cartography as late as 1921. This was not a forgotten island. Burmesa was considered real, tangible, and strategically important. But here is where the story takes a strange turn. In the second half of the 20th century, Burmesa began disappearing from maps. Cartographers began to omit it. Naval expeditions failed to find it. As satellites amazing became the norm, Burmesa location was checked again and again, and nothing was there. At coordinates 22 degrees 33 minutes north, 91 degrees 22 minutes west, open sea, not a shallow reef, not a sandbar, not even underwater remains, nothing, just deep water, well over a kilometer down, no trace that an island had ever existed. Now, Phantom's Islands, places that were mistakenly recorded and later removed, are not entirely rare. In fact, history is full of them. Sandy Island in the South Pacific appeared on Google Maps until 2012, even though explorers had confirmed its non existence here earlier. There is also High Brazil, a mythical island off the coast of Ireland, said to appear once every 7 years. These stories often combine cartographic error with myths, imagination, and human hope. But Burmesa is different because this is not just about a mistaken map, this is about power, oil, borders, and sovereignty. Fast forward to 1997, the Mexican government was beginning to negotiate exclusive economic zone or EZ borders with the United States. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, coastal nations are entitled to resources, including oil and fish, for 200 nautical miles beyond their coasts. Now imagine for a second if Burmesa existed as its mapped location, Mexico's EEZ would stretch farther into the Gulf of Mexico. And what's located in that extended area? Oil. And hell, lots of it. Specifically, access to what's known as the Hoyos de Dona deep oil deposits throughout to hold up to 22.5 billion barrels of crude. Thus, a kind of resource that can change a country's economy or foreign policy. So, the Mexican government had a big interest in providing Burmesa existed, but when they launched an expedition in the late 1990 to find the island, it was not there. They looked again in 2000, nothing. So in 2008, they authorized a more advanced expedition, this time involving the National Autonomous University of Mexico, UNAM. This was no half hearted research. The expedition used sonar, satellites, GPS, submersibles, aerial photography, you name it. The researchers scanned not just the surface of the Gulf, but the sea floor itself. And once again, nothing was there. No island, no reef, no geological anomaly, no water mountains, just empty water, no underwater mountains. Now, at this point, people start to ask the questions: how does an island that's supposed existed for hundreds of years simply vanish? And if it did not exist in the first place, why was it included in maps for so long? There are several theories. and some are more controversial than others. Theory number one, cartographic error. This is the most accepted explanation by scientists and historians. Early cartographers often relied on incomplete or second-hand information. If one map maker added an island in error, others might copy it to maintain consistency. Over time, that error became truth simply throughout repetitions. Theory number two, natural causes. Could Burmesa have existed at some point only to eroded by storms, hurricanes, or rising sea levels? Possibly, but again, sonar mapping in 2009 revealed no remnants, no underwater formations that might indicate a sunken landmass. Theory number three, it was a trap island. In the 18th and 19th centuries, some map makers added fake island or rivers to their maps to catch polagarists. If someone copied their map and fake island showed up in the copy, the original cartographer could prove intellectual theft. Burmesa might have been one of those. And then there is the conspiracy theory, the idea that Burmesa was real but was intentionally destroyed, removed, or hidden to Mexico's territorial claim over the Gulf's oil reserves. According to this theory, Burmesa was bombed or demolished, either by the CIA, a foreign oil corporation, or even secret military action so that it would not factor into EEZ calculation. As wild as it sounds, it gained traction in political circles. Several Mexican politicians publicly demanded an investigation. One claimed it was imploded to reduce Mexico's maritime rights. But despite all this noise, no evidence has been found to support that theory. In fact, 2009 study led by UNAM concluded definitely there is no geological structure consistent with submerged island at or near Burmesa's recorded location. It was likely never existed. Still, many people refuse to believe it, and in some ways, who can blame them? When an island is documented for centuries and then suddenly disappears, people are bound to suspect something, whether it was an honest mistake, a decoy on a map, misunderstood natural formation, or something darker. We may never know, but Burmesa remains a powerful symbol. It reminds us that maps are not infallible, the human creations, full of assumptions, biases, and sometimes outright errors. Just because of something appear in a book or a chart doesn't mean it's real. It also reminds us how geography can shape political. A small island, real or not, could have changed the course of oil negotiations between two countries. That's how much power a single rock in the sea can hold. And finally, Burmesa captures something timeless, our fascinating with the unknown. As much as we have mapped the world, explored the seas, scanned every inch of the globe from satellite above, there are still mysteries, still questions, still stories that don't have easy answer. So next time you open a map or scroll across satellite imagery, remember, not everything that that is drawn is real, and not everything real can be seen. Was Burmesa a phantom, a mistake, a casualty of war or prophet, or something stranger? That's for you to decide. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's strangest geographic mysteries, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share your theories in the comments. What do you think really happened to Burmesa? Thank you and have a great day.